set the sign. Please be seated. I would like to welcome you to the 121st commencement of Seattle Pacific University. Welcome to the parents, family members, and friends that are here. This day, graduates, this day is really about you, the class of 2015. This crowd of nearly 12,000 is evidence that there is value and meaning in presence when celebrating life's most important and meaningful accomplishments. However, that isn't to say that today won't be enhanced through social media, ensuring that the world knows what's happening in the lives of your graduates. In fact, I happened to see a tweet from one grad this morning that said, "I can't wait to graduate and move back in with my parents." Hashtag said no college graduate ever. A little bit later, I noticed a tweet from his mother in response. "Danny graduates today. I hope he is considering moving back in with us." Hashtag said no parent of a college graduate ever. Danny Ciascio, are you out here? Yeah, I'm sure your mother wasn't serious, Danny. Well, Danny and I have become good friends during his time here. I've told him he's like the son from Idaho that I've never had, so it's been great. Well, being a parent of a college student myself, I do empathize with moms and dads out there that happen to see their newly graduated son or daughter tweeting out the possibility of boomeranging home. Given that, I thought of some ways that you might gracefully tweet a response signaling your position on the matter. The tweet could say, "Interesting idea, you moving back home. You know I love you, but hashtag been there, done that." Or, "You know I love you, but hashtag you be cray-cray." "You know I love you, but hashtag mama don't play that." Or you could even do a combo hashtag, "You know I love you, but hashtag YOLO, hashtag in my house." Parents, if YOLO isn't in your vernacular like it is mine, that combo hashtag translates to "You only live once in my house." Well, graduates, wherever life takes you from this point forward, remember that you are always welcome at your home away from home these last few years, your alma mater, Seattle Pacific University. And for our graduates, just to paraphrase a modern-day philosopher, Wiz Khalifa, it's been a short time with you, my friend, and we'll talk about it when we see you again. You've come a long way from where you began. Everything we went through, we were standing side by side, and here we are together on this last ride. Well, those of us that have been blessed to journey with you are the first to recognize that you've worked hard, that you've persevered, and that you've overcome obstacles to reach this milestone in your life. Since the time that you entered SPU, much has changed in our world and much has changed in our community. You have changed. You've grown in your intellectual capacity, in your ability to think critically and analytically. You are more confident. You have nurtured and pursued your dreams and aspirations. You've grown as individuals, and you've matured in your faith. We are proud of the person that you have become and are becoming. But now we are at a point where we are not only celebrating and acknowledging your achievements during your time at SPU, but we are also marking a moment where we anticipate your service to the world as you commence from this place to the life and path that God has before you. May God richly bless you in this meaningful moments in your life today.
Please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we first want to thank you for your great goodness and the blessings you bestow on our lives. Today, we thank you and celebrate these graduates and their great accomplishments. We want to thank you for the blessing of a college degree and recognize that not all in our nation, and certainly not all in our world, have access to an incredible education and a holistic college experience like these students have had. Lord, we pray these graduates will not soon forget the gifts they have received at Seattle Pacific University. The gifts of critical thinking, sunny days at Tiffany Loop, relationships built with faculty over coffee or perhaps crying in their office, and the support staff and fellow students have given. All of this has educated these students and prepared them for the world ahead. We pray they will not forget the vision statement to engage the culture and change the world, which first drew so many to SPU. We pray they will carry it out all the days of their lives. We pray that they will be immeasurably uncomfortable with injustice in the world, so much so that it moves them to action and service. We thank you for the diversity we see amongst our graduates today, ethnic, cultural, socioeconomic, and beyond. We recognize that this diversity has also educated our campus and made SPU a better place. Above all, Lord, we pray that we will always place you first in our lives, that we will never forget the gift of salvation and your promise to never leave or forsake us. May we live life in a way that honors you, and may these graduates lean on you for next steps in their lives. We praise you, thank you, and honor you today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Romans 12, 1 through 21. So here's what I want you to do, God helping you. Take your ordinary, everyday life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for Him. Don't be so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it even without thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what He wants from you and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you. I'm speaking to you out of deep gratitude for all that God has given me, and especially as I have responsibilities in relation to you. Living then, as every one of you does, in pure grace, it's important that you not misinterpret yourselves as people who are bringing this goodness to God. No, God brings it all to you. The only accurate way to understand ourselves is by what God is and by what He does for us, not by what we are and what we do for Him. In this way, we are like the various parts of a human body. Each part gets its meaning from the body as a whole, not the other way around. The body we're talking about is Christ's body of chosen people. Each of us finds our meaning or function as a part of His body. But as a chopped off finger or cut off toe, we wouldn't amount to much, would we? So since we find ourselves fashioned into all these excellently formed and marvelously functioning parts in Christ's body, let's just go ahead and be what we were made to be, without enviously or pridefully comparing ourselves with each other or trying to be something we aren't. If you preach, just preach God's message, nothing else. If you help, just help, don't take over. If you teach, stick to your teaching. If you give encouraging guidance, be careful that you don't get bossy. If you're put in charge, don't manipulate. If you're called to give aid to people in distress, keep your eyes open and be quick to respond. If you work with the disadvantaged, don't let yourself get irritated with them or depressed by them. Keep a smile on your face. Love from the center of who you are. Don't fake it. Run for dear life from evil. Hold on for dear life to good. Be good friends who love deeply. Practice playing second fiddle. Don't burn out. Keep yourselves fueled and aflame. Be alert servants of the Master, cheerfully expectant. Don't quit in hard times. Pray all the harder. Help needy Christians. Be inventive in hospitality. Bless your enemies. No cursing under your breath. Laugh with your happy friends when they're happy. Share tears when they're down. Get along with each other. Don't be stuck up. Make friends with nobodies. Don't be the great somebody. Don't hit back. Discover beauty in everyone. If you've got it in you, get along with everybody. Don't insist on getting even. That's not for you to do. I'll do the judging, says God. I'll take care of it. Our scriptures tell us that if you see your enemy hungry, go buy that person lunch, or if he's thirsty, get him a drink. Your generosity will surprise him with goodness. Don't let evil get the best of you. Get the best of evil by doing good.
You may be seated. I would like to invite Dean Bruce Congdon and graduate Susanna Olson to come to the platform.
The Seattle Pacific University President's Citation Honor is given each year to a graduating senior who exemplifies the mission and vision of this university and is among those students with the highest academic standing in her or his class. Today, it is our distinct privilege to present the 2015 President's Citation to Susanna Olson. During her remarkable time at SPU, Susanna has achieved a 4.0 grade point average, earning the Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry. According to Assistant Professor of Chemistry Daniel Schofield, for whom she was a research assistant, Susanna was the Freshman Chemistry Student of the Year, the Freshman Biology Student of the Year, subsequently the Organic Chemistry Student of the Year, and the Biochemistry Student of the Year. Her own research has been published in the peer-reviewed Journal of Physical Chemistry, and when she traveled to New Orleans in 2012 for the national meeting of the American Chemical Society, she presented her research in a session where presenters were predominantly doctoral students. On the pharmacy college admission test, she obtained a 99th percentile score and has been accepted into the Doctorate of Pharmacy program at the University of Washington. Susanna has also been impressive on the basketball court. As a result of her amazing work on the SPU women's basketball team, Susanna was named the College Sports Information Directors of America Academic All-America of the Year for NC2A Division II. She led the Falcons in scoring and assists this year averaging 18.1 points and 3.7 assists per game. For exercise, she also participated in SPU's Intramurals Spring Dodgeball Tournament. Susanna has also served as the Vice President of the Ivy Honorary, Seattle Pacific's chapter of the National Mortarboard Honor Society. She helped SPU host Tent City 3. She raised funds for Children of the Nations, a nonprofit organization serving orphans and destitute children. She volunteered at the Seattle Children's Hospital and at a local elementary school, tutoring kids in after-school programs. Susanna's basketball coach, Julie Heisey, says great teams need strong leadership. In the 23 years of my college coaching career, I have coached many exceptional student athletes. Susanna stands above them all. It is with great pleasure that we present Susanna Olson with the 2015 President's Citation.
Keep us posted.
I will, absolutely.
Dr. Swanson, if you could now join me at the platform. As we confer this honorary doctorate on Dr. Swanson, I'll be accompanied by Provost Jeff Van Duzer and Board Chair Gary Ames. Dr. Swanson is someone who has lived and continues to live a life of service, innovation, and excellence. Without a doubt, he embodies SPU's vision to engage the culture and change the world. Dr. Swanson is a highly respected scientist and entrepreneur. He completed his PhD in physical chemistry at the University of California, Davis, and his postdoctoral research at the University of Chicago. His early career focused on field emission research, which led him to become a faculty member and then eventually academic dean at Linfield College. Beyond his academic career, Dr. Swanson founded Field Electron and Ion Corporation in 1971, serving as its chief scientist and chairman for more than 30 years. FEI serves as a world supplier of electronic and ion beam sources for field emission research and electron microscopy. Dr. Swanson has received the prestigious Pittcon Heritage Award, which recognizes contributions to the role of analytical chemistry in world economies. He's also received the Howard Vollum Award for distinguished accomplishment in science and technology. In 1987, Dr. Swanson became a trustee of the M.J. Murdock Charitable Trust. The Murdock Trust has been one of SPU's most significant and faithful financial partners since their first grant to SPU in 1979. Their investment in our mission totals over $8.5 million as they have supported our academic programs, various capital projects, as well as providing seed money to launch new initiatives. We are blessed to benefit from the mission of the Murdock Trust, and we are exceedingly grateful for their investment in our students and their futures. Dr. Swanson, thank you for the part that you have played in providing generous and faithful support to Seattle Pacific University through the Trust. Dr. Swanson has been married to his wife, Karen, for 59 years. They have 4 children and 9 grandchildren. 2 of their sons, David and Jonathan, are SPU alumni. David is a 1994 graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree in biology, and he's a physician, while Jonathan is a 1995 graduate with a Bachelor of Science in chemistry and exercise science and is an award-winning jazz and classical pianist. It is for all these reasons and more that Seattle Pacific University is proud to confer the degree of Doctor of Science upon Dr. Linwood Swanson. Won't you please join me in honoring Dr. Swanson? Excellent. Stand up here and we'll hood you here.
Lynn Swanson, With the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science with all the rights and privileges that pertain to this among our highest honors.
I would now like to invite Dr. Doug Backus, our Vice Chair, to the podium. Our second honorary degree recipient is Chair of the Board, Gary Ames. The board enthusiastically voted to honor Gary in this manner when he happened to step out of the room at the last board meeting. As humble as he is, I'm confident he would not have let this vote come to the floor. Gary has served on our board for 12 years. Reaching the term limits today marks his last official duty as our board chair, but we could not let him leave our midst without recognizing his exemplary leadership and remarkable legacy at the university. Gary has had extensive corporate experience serving multiple telecommunications, technology, retail, and investment companies as either director, president, or CEO, including serving as the CEO of Media One International, which was one of the nation's and world's largest broadband communications companies. Beyond his service at SPU, Gary and Barb have deeply invested in the mission of the university, becoming the university's largest lifetime benefactors. As a result of their generosity, last fall, the Board of Trustees officially named the SPU Library the Ames Library. Perhaps Gary and Barb's greatest investment hasn't been to SPU, but through SPU. They founded the Ames Scholars Program, and it supports student scholarships, faculty, and programs that are focused on access and opportunity for underrepresented students. When the Ames Scholar Program began in 2002, the university's ethnic representation in the student body was under 8%. Today, through the Ames effort, as well as the diligent work of many others, the university's undergraduate ethnic minority representation is approaching 35%. I invite you to watch this video that captures a glimpse of the profound impact of the Ames Scholar Program.
I actually never considered not going to college. I think my real problem was knowing how to pay for it. The Ames Scholarship is a scholarship that is awarded to students from diverse backgrounds. I finally decided to come to SPU because of scholarships like the Ames.
In the last 10 years, the SPU ethnic minority undergraduate population has gone from about 10% to now a third of our undergraduates. The Ames Scholars are selected because they have demonstrated leadership. They have already been leaders, so that's part of the selection criteria.
Not only am I the first person in my family to go on and actually go to college and then graduate, I was the first to actually graduate from high school, so the Ames Scholarship provided that outlet for me.
For me, how I saw that scholarship was like an affirmation. It wasn't like, oh, we're just giving you money, but we see something in you.
My goals are to go to medical school. I also hope as well in the long term to go back to Mexico and serve my community there.
I see attorneys, I see teachers, I see people that are in medical school, and we don't know that when they're at SPU what their futures are going to be. I think that's the vision that Gary Ames had in investing in the Ames Scholar Program.
Gary Ames, with the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all rights and privileges that pertain to this among our highest honors. Gary, you're a Falcon for life.
Forgiven, loved, and free, the life of Jesus to recall. In love lay down for me, in love lay down for me. I come with joy.
I come with Christians far and near to find us all are fed, a new community of love in Christ's communion bread, in Christ's communion bread.
Thus we meet and glad to know the presence ever near. Join our hearts and sing with joy that Christ is risen here, that Christ is risen here.
Alive among us here together, together bound in friendship we will stay, and go with joy to love the world and live the way we pray.
And live the way we live, the way we live.
It is a special privilege to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Steve Moore, Executive Director of the M.J. Murdock Charitable Trust. Beyond the investment he has made in SPU through his role at the Murdock Trust, Dr. Moore served as the Vice President for Student Life at SPU in the 90s. Steve, it's been said that when you joined the SPU administration as a native Texan, one of the first items you proudly displayed in your office was a bumper sticker that read, "Don't mess with Texas." Not a bad message for one in charge of overseeing our student lifestyle and behavioral expectations. I've also heard that when a student's life choices ran counter to the lifestyle and behavioral expectations, at times the result was a dinner with you at the home. I'm sure this strategy was designed to allow you to live into one of your greatest joys, investing in the lives and futures of college students. Steve is known to be a voracious reader, a lover of sports, good barbecue, and spending time with family and friends. Following the completion of a seminary degree in human moral development, Steve was on a path to study law and ethics at St. Andrews in England. But it was an increasing interest and belief that ideas matter in the capacity to address an increasingly fragmented world that led him to pursue a PhD at the University of Michigan. Since then, 4 themes have been constant in Steve's career: learning in the pursuit of truth, the intersection of faith and culture, how mission-driven institutions develop leaders who are purposeful and strategic, and how to bring faith to bear on the challenges that the world serves up. Someone recently told me that Steve and his wife, Than, are some of the most generous souls that you will ever meet, and everyone they encounter is better off for knowing them. I believe this will be true for you today. You will be better for knowing him. Won't you please join me in welcoming our 2015 commencement speaker, Dr. Steve Moore.
Great to be here.
Blessings on you. Glad you're here.
President Martin, Than and I are so grateful for this opportunity to be back with you, this special place, this incredible moment in the life of the university. In fact, as I began to prepare and think about my time, I decided one of the things that would help me to prepare would be to come up and interview a few students on campus. I wanted to give kind of an idea of what they were thinking, but I thought to kind of start, it would be a great chance to give them an opportunity to give a shout out to some family and friends who were a part of their experience here at SPU. And so I've captured a few of those comments. Let's watch those right now.
This is Steve Moore, and we're excited because we're going to be visiting with a few seniors about their graduation and their excitement about their guest speaker, Dr. Steve Moore. Let's go see if we can find something.
I'm really looking forward to seeing my mom and dad. I've only seen them a couple of times throughout the years, and they've only been here really to drop me off freshman year. So it's going to be exciting for me to take them around Seattle and hang out with them and really focus on graduation. So.
All my family, coming from different states. Yeah.
Yeah, my parents and grandparents.
Give us some names.
Greg, Leanne, Papa Don, Grandma Gail, Papa Wes.
Keep going.
That's it. Nope, sister's not coming. She's got better things to do.
Well, my parents, first off. I'm really excited to see them, to see me graduate. They've wanted me to be graduating for so long, and so I'll be really proud to see their smile on their face. My sisters are going to be there. Probably my whole extended family, a couple friends from back home. And I'm just really excited to see them all and grab that diploma.
Who are you looking forward to seeing at graduation?
All my family coming up from Hawaii, so it'll be fun to see them, especially my grandma. I don't know, I just haven't seen her a lot, so I'm looking forward to seeing her, and obviously my parents. I know that they've been tremendous supporters all 4 years, and so just wanted to see them and celebrate with them this kind of mutual accomplishment. They've been with me from day one, so yeah, excited to see them.
Who are you looking forward to seeing most at graduation? Friends, family that are coming in?
Yeah, all of my family is going to be there, which is going to be really exciting. My parents are both going to be there to see me walk. It's going to be awesome. And my grandma and I think my siblings. I'm really excited to have them be there too.
What are their names?
Sam and Ellie.
That's great. Who are you looking forward to seeing at graduation?
My grandma. She is 82, and she is one of the most wonderful women I know. So strong, so intelligent, so insightful, and really funny, and can rhyme. So
that's great. Good. Those are great comments, aren't they? Now, my guess is that every graduate here, if we'd have the time to videotape them, would be able to have some of those same kinds of things, because there are friends and there are family that are here to celebrate you and to share this moment with you. But since we can't do that, let's take a 1-minute break. I want all the graduates, if you would, to give a standing ovation to your parents and family that are out there. It's your turn to thank them. Okay, that's great. How great. It's great to have people here to help celebrate. Now, when I was interviewing the seniors, I also thought I'd give them a chance to just say a word or two about their educational experience while they've been at Seattle Pacific. This is a unique place. It has a remarkably gifted faculty. It has talented, committed staff, surrounded by trustees, administration, so many others who make this a remarkable place. And so here's a chance to kind of see what some of them said was what they would remember the most about their time at SPU.
I think meeting, freshman year and getting to live together ever since, and all of the friends that we made and experiences we had since because of that.
Yeah, living in the dorms and just getting to bond with people in that way was really fun.
I think the biggest thing that stands out for me is just the people, the students that go here, the faculty that's here, and our president, and really being in a tight-knit community.
Snow week. Snow week for me, freshman year. Coming from Hawaii, that was my first actual time in snow, and so having fun with my friends and kind of doing homework, kind of not doing homework, but just enjoying friends and enjoying the snow, playing and making a snowman for the first time. But yeah, one of many experiences.
The community, hands down. It's like a family. I've been so cared for, so nurtured for, so empowered. I'm definitely going to miss it.
I think a really big thing about SPU is the community. I think it was just so standout. I experienced a tragedy in my life, and just seeing that community come together and just surround me the way they did, and the way they treated my family and the way they treated me and how accepting they were, it was just a wonderful experience. So I think the community is a really big part that I'm really proud of SPU here.
Now, did you notice as you were listening to some of their comments, and we could have gone on and on there when they even began to name people, but it was interesting to me how often as I talked with these seniors, they talked about the power of community, how community was so influential. It's a great reminder, really, that in every season of life, community is so important. I hope before you leave this community, in these next hours and days that you'll have with them, that you'll be very intentional about finding people that you need to say thank you to. There are people who've helped make your SPU experience a great one. And we need to remind ourselves that gratitude is much more than just good manners. It's a spiritual discipline. It's a choice for how you and I will live our lives. Will we be people of generous gratitude, intentional and purposeful in the way we say thank you? I hope that you'll do that with notes, with words, with opportunities to be people that are marked by gratitude. Now, I really appreciated Dr. Martin's introduction. I'm not going to take it too serious, as you'll see in just a moment. I asked these seniors, are you excited about your guest speaker, Steve Moore, coming? And what advice would you have for him as he comes to campus? Here's a few of their responses on that.
Steve Moore? Who is Steve Moore? Dude, I don't know who Steve Moore is. Who is Steve Moore? Who's Steve Moore?
I don't know who that is.
I mean, Steve Moore could be a made-up person, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got Steve Moore as the graduation speaker. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to hear about the insight he has for us, and how we're just gonna be done with school and what to look forward to as an adult.
Never heard of him.
I'm actually excited. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's going to be a great... I loved commencement last year, so it's going to be a good time. I don't know. Good?
I think he just has so much knowledge, and I'm really excited to hear kind of what he has to say for us, kind of what our next steps are, what it really means to be a graduate, to have a college degree, and kind of what it means to be in a very select and lucky few to have a college degree in this wonderful country.
And what is it about Steve Moore that you like the most? Like, describe him for us.
You know, honestly, I don't know who Steve Moore is. So, that's all I got, unfortunately.
And then how would you finish this sentence even though you don't know him? Just start with by saying these words. I think Steve Moore is probably, and that's how you would finish that, okay?
I really have no idea.
And are you excited about Steve Moore being the speaker for graduation?
Yes.
You know, having a police record, does that trouble you that they'd have a speaker for graduation that would be in that situation?
No, I don't think that would be a problem.
And so knowing that Steve has a pretty long police record, multiple arrests, multiple states, all the controversy, doesn't bother you?
No. I think Martin Luther King got arrested a few times. If you've read the Bible, there's been some guys who've been thrown to the cell. Hasn't stopped them.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay. Perfect.
So you can see that I'm not taking that introduction too much. The thing I would want to say to you is you really don't need to know who Steve Moore is or even remember who Steve Moore is. But there are 3 or 4 things I just want to share with you very briefly. Things that as I began to prepare and pray and plan for this brief talk, I began to think about. One of the ways that I prepared is I began to read a lot of other commencement talks. I even went back and read a couple that I had given before. And it was interesting to me how often certain phrases began to pop up. Dream big, discover your passion, be true to yourself. In fact, my guess is if you were to go to any other graduations this year, you're going to hear very similar phrases. And it caused me to think, and frankly, to have to come to you with a little bit of a confession. When others and when I have given some of these talks, I realize that we've not told the whole story. There's some other things that you need to know that go with some of those cliches or phrases. Sometimes in our effort to be pithy or to be inspirational, you simply haven't gotten the whole story. For example, one of my favorite quotes, one that I've used in talks, probably you've heard it too. It's attributed to usually to Francis of Assisi, to Mother Teresa, and occasionally to Jeff Cuse. It goes something like this: preach the gospel everywhere, and when necessary, use words. Now, I love that. It reminds us that the way we live our lives speaks volumes about what we really believe. But I've got to tell you, it's not the whole truth, particularly in the day and time and place that we find ourselves. Here's the rest of what you need to know. An uninterpreted life is a life that's easily misunderstood. We must learn to use words, to use them wisely and carefully, thoughtfully and purposefully. But if we don't interpret our lives, the reason and hope that motivates us and guides us can easily be misunderstood. We live in a world that's full of competing, confused, and often very bad ideas that people base their lives on. Ideas do have consequences. Now, SPU has played a significant role in shaping and forming your ideas and some of your words, the way you think about it. As your words and understanding continues to grow and to be refined and sharpened, I hope you will remember, preach the gospel everywhere. When necessary, use words. But I hope you will also remember that an uninterpreted life is a life easily misunderstood. Let your life and your actions and your choices and your words be a symphony of service and grace, truth and hope and wisdom in a world that needs to both see and hear the good news in you. Pope Francis has been an amazing example and an encouragement to all of us. His actions are so compelling and so winsome, but he also is not slow to tell you why he does what he does. The second thing I have to confess, and that I've said and others have said, is find something that you're passionate about and go do it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a passionate guy. I am afraid at times, however, that in our day, we have oversold passion and sincerity and authenticity, and we have undersold daily discipleship and self-denial, hard work, and just sticking with it. I have a friend, Jenna Nardella. She, with the band Jars of Clay, founded an organization called Blood Water Mission for clean water and clean blood in Africa. And she's working on a book and sent me a copy to look at. And in it she said this: I once thought that hope was easy. Now I realize that it was passion that came easy. As a young adult, my passions were a gift that propelled me forward. But at some point, the wind disappears. and you have to wait. And in those times, it's only hope and hard work that can move you forward. And hope, true hope, is hard to find. Hope means giving up on the options of apathy and despair, and it means embracing uncertainty. Apathy and despair are the cousins to cynicism, and they are the fruit of cowardice. Link your passion with the daily choices to live courageously. Additionally, passion and self-fulfillment can sometimes focus us too much on ourselves. I hope that in the last few years you've been at SPU, that you've learned that it's really not about you. The culture encourages us to center and to create a universe that we are in the center of. We're often fearful of getting stuck in dull jobs, difficult jobs that just drain the life out of us. But the reality is, not every day of every job or every relationship is full of passion and fun and meaning. We commencement speakers love to tell you to follow your passion, listen to your feelings, chase your dreams and joys, and those are all good, but it's not the whole truth. Understand, I'm not asking you to settle for a dull, boring, meaningless life. In fact, I would say this about most people and about many Christians. Many of us prefer the hell of a predictable situation rather than risk the joy of an unpredictable one. I'm asking you to ask some different questions of your life than often get asked. What does the world need from me? Knowing what I know and have experienced thus far, what in my world and the way that God has created me, what is the world calling me to do and to be? Don't give up passion, sincerity, or authenticity. Those are all good things. But connect them with a rugged hope, one that causes you to get out of bed in the morning, to work hard, to stick with it, and to be somebody that lives for others. Ask yourself, how might God use me in this day with the people I encounter this day to be His representative in the world? It turns out, in fact, that the people who really do make a difference in the world are people who make daily, out-of-the-way, seemingly insignificant choices that in fact add up to make a difference. The third confession that I have to make to you, and that I would have to say other speakers would also, is to the kind of idea that you can accomplish anything you want to do or be if you just dream big. I'd say this is probably the most overused line in every commencement speech. The full truth is this: you can't be everything. You can't do everything. Just because you dream it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But here's the reality and the good news. God desires to use you in ways that are far beyond your imagination. Now, I have to confess to you, I've come to grips with something recently. I've always had a big dream of playing pro football. And I've finally come to grips with the fact that I'm not going to be the starting outside linebacker of the Seahawks. Now, you laugh, but you got to understand, I played football in West Texas, you know, Friday Night Lights and all that stuff. I could have played at college. They were small colleges, but I could have. It just isn't true that because we dream big that we can do anything. Andrea Leach, you are not going to be Hillary Clinton's vice presidential running mate next year, no matter how much Uncle Dana believes in you. Connor King, You're not going to find the cure for cancer in the next couple of years. Susanna Olsen, in spite of all the amazing things that you've done, you're not going to win Wimbledon next year as much as you have dreamed that. Krista Lynn, you're going to be a great teacher, but you're not going to win the Nobel Prize next year. But Andrea and Connor and Susanna and Krista and every graduate, in fact, every person in this room, hear this. You can make a much more amazing contribution in your family, in your community, in your job, in this world, than you can ever imagine that it would be. Now, sadly, I just want to remind you again, most people prefer the hell of a predictable situation rather than risk the joy of an unpredictable one. Dare to risk and to step outside the comfort zone. God has wired you in a unique way, with a unique personality, with unique combination of gifts. You can make a special contribution far more than you can imagine. There are things that will not get done if you don't do them. People that will not be touched if you don't have the courage to step out and do so. But don't think that you'll do it alone. Remember that word, community. Choose your friends wisely. Earlier, we honored a man with an honorary doctorate who is a testament to what I'm saying. He was a second generation of an immigrant family that moved to the fertile farming valleys of California. He went to college due in large part to an athletic scholarship. Eventually, he got a PhD, did research, made incredible scientific discoveries, has numerous scientific patents, founded a scientific company that has had implications that touch your life and my life in ways that you'll never completely know. And as Dan said, he also has been for 25 years one of the trustees of one of the leading charitable organizations in this area. He helped start many organizations that probably many of you know: Young Life, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Navigators, many of those. Most art museums in the Northwest have been touched in some way by some of the work that Lynn Swanson and others at the Murdock Trust have done. Now, last night we had dinner, and I asked Lynn and his wife Karen, and I said, did you ever imagine that this would happen at this point in your life? When you were back in college and you were at your commencement over 50 years ago. And they said, we never imagined this. God desires to do things in and through you that you can hardly imagine. Now, the final thing that I want to say to you is that many commencement addresses fail to tell you a very important thing. It's this: there is pain ahead in life. We love to talk about dreams and love and passion and joy and, oh, the places you will go. We don't like to talk about pain really at commencement. But just recently you had a memorial service. As a university, you know what pain and suffering and how it can interrupt your life. But I also know from talking to many of you that you've had pain in your own life that's hard to understand. I hope that you will remember this: God is not the author of all things, but He is the master of all things. There is nothing that can invade your life, be it pain or anything else, that God cannot take and weave into a pattern somehow for your good. God is a God of redemption, and with Him no pain is wasted. He desires to weave all things together to create a living tapestry that is so unique in your life, one that is full of both joy fruitfulness, hope, and an honor to Him. I chose this passage from Romans 12 that was read so beautifully, translated by Eugene Peterson, an SPU alum. I chose it because it says what I've kind of been trying to say in so much of a more clear and thoughtful way. That great first opening of Romans 12. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the very best thing you can do. And I chose this title, The Way is Made by Walking, a line from the Spanish poet Machado, who reminds us that when everything is said and done, we must walk. The truth and the shape of our lives unfolds in daily kinds of ways. It unfolds as we walk. Now, I've tried to offer some truth that I've found on my way and in my walking, but you've had some amazing people to walk in your way during your time at SPU. People like Bill Woodward or Sarah Koenig or Dave Neathouse, Susan Lane, Steve Newby, Kim and Jennifer Gilnett. What a loss in Jennifer Gilnett, but she was here while you were here. And you've had amazing international people on your campus like John Perkins, David Brooks, Mako Fujimura, and many, many others. And so let's give a couple of them an opportunity to say a word directly to you.
Good morning to SPU graduation ceremony, and I'm glad to have been invited by Steve to just say to be creative. Here I am in my studio in Princeton, New Jersey, and I see my life's calling as centered around creativity and making of art and providing beauty into the world. Doing good work of being a nurse, doctor, business entrepreneur, a plumber, any endeavor can be seen as part of our calling to create. So congratulations.
The work of my life has been to anchor people in biblical principles that shapes their character and grounds them in life. And so I welcome, receive, and pray that it will have a great impact on the lives of these students.
Hello, I'm Senator Mitch McConnell. Let me add my congratulations to those Dr. Moore has already given to the class of 2015. Here in Washington, D.C., good people of all philosophies work to make a difference. I encourage you to be bold and to strive for the same. Don't settle for being a bystander in life. With persistence and hard work, I know you can succeed. So go forward, be bold, and make a difference. Congratulations to the class of 2015, and go Falcons.
So graduates of 2015, congratulations. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you in all you do as you walk in your way. Amen.
Well, thank you, Dr. Moore, for your words of encouragement and challenge to our graduates today. It will be a memorable moment in their life, I'm sure. Let me also express my appreciation to David Anderson, our Director of Choral Music, and to the SPU Concert Choir, as well as the Symphonic Wind Ensemble under the direction of Danny Hilseth. All these talented musicians have blessed us with the gift of music throughout this year, and we are grateful that they are here today to add so beautifully to our ceremony. I would like to now invite Jeff Van Duzer, our provost, and Gary Ames, chair of the Board of Trustees, to join me as we begin the awarding of the degrees.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degree please stand and remain standing? That's you all. President Martin and Board Chairman Ames, I proudly join the faculty in acknowledging the achievements of the graduating class of 2015. These men and women have reached another important milestone in their pursuit of lifelong learning. While Seattle Pacific has been a means of nurturing them, they have brought much to our lives as well. The faculty of Seattle Pacific University has had the privilege of participating in a program of rigorous learning with these candidates. They have been examined on the quality of their scholarship, and the faculty recommends them to you.
As a member of the Board of Trustees, I can tell you that the board watches students' achievement with great interest and pride. Some of us are SPU alumni ourselves, and all of us have a very deep commitment to this university. The board has received the recommendations of the faculty and the president and is pleased to authorize the conferring of baccalaureate degrees upon the graduates of the class of 2015.
On recommendation of the faculty, and with the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the State of Washington, I confer upon each of you the baccalaureate degree with all the honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. It is now time for a familiar ritual, a simple act that symbolizes the completion of the baccalaureate degree. You may now move the tassels on your mortarboard from the right side to the left. Graduates, please be seated.
We will be presenting candidates this afternoon by the school or program in which they have earned a degree. Dean Deborah Sequeira and Professor George Scranton will be reciting names of all graduates today as they come to the platform. We will not call the names of graduates who are not present this afternoon.
We now recognize those receiving baccalaureate degrees in the School of Business, Government, and Economics. Katarina Kruger, magna cum laude. Portia Smith. Natalie Pavia, cum laude. Daniel Chaplin. Samuel Darlene, magna cum laude. Joel DeYoung, cum laude. Catherine Stopler, cum laude. Daniel Eric Mudge, cum laude. Brian Valley, summa cum laude. Kevin Kayahara. Samuel Nehemiah Smith III. Isaac Auberg, cum laude. Jessica Ann Miller, cum laude. Stephanie Sarah Chu, cum laude. Evan James Erickson, magna cum laude. Ryan McGill, Benjamin Taylor, Joshua Sumner Hemphill, magna cum laude. April Jacqueline Harrell, cum laude. Eric Edward Eisman. Anna Tran. Mary Irfani. Josephine Christner. Christian Roy, cum laude. Megan Phelps, cum laude. Mackenzie Mercer Banta, cum laude. Kendall Ann Prosser, cum laude. Corinne Rollins, magna cum laude. Luke Drivstuen, magna cum laude. Ryan Bovenkamp, cum laude. Jeffrey Reinchess. John Heffel, cum laude. Addison Parker, magna cum laude. Dylan Thompson, cum laude. Jeff Mullen. Evan Robichaud, cum laude. R.J. Straker. Luke Allen Hamlin. Jordan Cushion, cum laude. Ethan Alexander Dufault, summa cum laude. Brandon Jonathan Richard Farrell, Farwell. Riley Stockton, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Kingma, cum laude. Kaylee Faith King. Catherine Bartell. Eric Emil Sandvik. Adriana Spears. Maiwa Sosanya. Sirai Jordan Ungiri. Allison Northrup, cum laude. Kelsey Chase, summa cum laude. Natalie Pimblett, cum laude. Sean Reed, cum laude. Brandon Brink. Christopher Haylett, magna cum laude. P.J. Wan, Jr. Richard Williams IV. Zyra Giselle Leawan. Alyssa Cleland, magna cum laude. Sarah Kulakawi Kuhano Brita, cum laude. Chanel Germaine Carl, cum laude. Zoe Barfield. Haley Schultz. Raquel Cummins. Annalise Schuster, magna cum laude. Jesse Soligny. Ryan Howard. Victoria Ann So. Kyle Vera. Sarah Nicole Johnson, magna cum laude. Colby Kippers. Jamie Kozlowski. Malid Rezki. Cam Hin Ho. Darrell McCollum. Campbell McCullough. Wynn Michael Wesson, magna cum laude. Colin McConkey, cum laude. James Park. Brandon Euler. Jacob Zimmer, cum laude. Jake Olsby, cum laude. Frank Tejada Martinez. Jason Holloway. Tyler Sawyers. Gail Alexandra Ricker. Maham Rasa. Hope Hultgren, cum laude. Grace Lee. Kyle Clark. Amandeep Singh. Arlen Proctor. Oksana Volchkova. Anisha Joanna Marion Pubalin. Brian Na. Terrell Kelly. Eugene Lee. Jacqueline Billups. Samantha Elizabeth Snively. Joshua Palmer. Jordan Lynn Connor. Aubrey Dupar. Josiah Sound. Eden Hope Novosedlak, magna cum laude. Shauna Marie Mackin, summa cum laude. Julie Flower, magna cum laude. Kaylee Sherwood. Benjamin J. Prinster. Stephen Charles Riley. Catherine Morgan. Haley DeClotz, summa cum laude. Drew Bryant, summa cum laude. Gabriella Nicole Serventi, magna cum laude. Leanne Sason, cum laude. Claire Fredericks, summa cum laude. Kalani Crumley, cum laude. Chelsea Annalise Hattix. Kaylee Noel Nelson. Chelsea Elizabeth Carlson. Natalie Marie Smith. Ashley Johnson. Samanadani Prom. Liana Rejani. Kendra Kinney. Kiri Bahadur Singh, cum laude. Catherine Miranda. Victoria Simro Wegener. Nora Amin. Stella Angelica Kayad Ekarta, cum laude. Daniel Lau. Jordan Fern. George Kortev. Valerie Chiban. Lauren Jackman Yont. Juyoung Julia Park. Cassidy Michaela Unpinko. We now recognize those receiving baccalaureate degrees in the School of Education. Kylie Hegland. Stephanie Miliato. Tyler Boblet, cum laude. Tessa Jo Scholl. Tiana Duenas. Esther Sonali Templer. Amanda Gulegos, cum laude. Ryan Lundstrom, cum laude. Abigail Person, summa cum laude. Emily Booth. Kaylee Cunningham. Mitchell Daly, magna cum laude. Haley Bjorkestrand, summa cum laude. Emily Cartmel, magna cum laude. Mary J. Peterson. Chelsea Johnson, cum laude. Kendra Renee Thiessen. Sheridan Lamb, magna cum laude. Demi Joyce Waitley. Elizabeth Ray Hahn. Brianna Backel, magna cum laude. Alexa Diaz. Sydney Clark. Alora Howard, cum laude. Mackenzie Bang, magna cum laude. Tabitha Harold, cum laude. Krista Lind. Alexandra Jean Abercrombie, cum laude. Mark Gonsalves. Elena Holzmer. Jenna Marie Machine, cum laude. Rebecca Franklin, summa cum laude. Anna Holford, magna cum laude. Bethany Ruth Ann Garcia. Amanda Kenny, summa cum laude. Deborah Schlomer. Cassandra Lawrence, summa cum laude. Rebecca Bokyung Chung, magna cum laude. Samantha Lynn Moody. Jianjin Zhang. Nyaru Thong. Courtney Holland. Rebecca Christine Kors. Jessica Hush. Kendra Nicole Corbett. Natalie Johnson, cum laude. We now recognize those receiving baccalaureate degrees in the School of Health Sciences. Diego David Navarro Gomez, cum laude. John Carasa. Chloe Hudson, cum laude. Stephanie Azevedo. Emily Halesto, cum laude. Shannon Campbell. Tanner Sturm. David Benzar. Sarah Melissa Leong, cum laude. Holly Nagasigi, summa cum laude. Rachel Dusing. Charisse DeVries. Rebecca Williams, cum laude. Shaina Colleen Mejia. Jamima Edet Gassman. Diana Chung, cum laude. Amanda Sedukan, cum laude. Doris Wang. Sarah Jinhee Kang. Christina Tolosa. Esther Audette. Emily Jones, summa cum laude. Anthony Douglas. Stephanie Rice, magna cum laude. Mercedes Bones, cum laude. Laura Lena Miller. Mackenzie Fox. Kaylin Minner, cum laude. Kara Martin, summa cum laude. Alyssa Johnson. Rachel Cole, cum laude. Lindsay Ono. Emily Catherine Eaton, magna cum laude. Lauren Buenaventura, magna cum laude. Victoria Bartoldas. Alyssa Anderson, cum laude. Erica Dempsey. Christy Hancock, magna cum laude. Camille Dobbins, cum laude. Elizabeth McGonigal. Brianna Leenders, cum laude. Courtney Ostra, cum laude. Mary Beth Trimble. Samantha Strike. Katie Reifert. Caitlin Martin, cum laude. Jessica Park, cum laude. Danielle Nicole Johnson, cum laude. Michaela O'Brien. Cynthia Chu. Alexandra Young, cum laude. Carly Suzanne Courts. Danielle Hohensinner. Brianna Busby. Tatiana Templeman. Benjamin Polhamus. Judah Ivy, cum laude. Alexander Torchillo, cum laude. Brian Maruhashi, cum laude. Daniel Sinclair. Yasmin Abdi. Rocio Noemi Humphrey, summa cum laude. Malaika Young. Fanny Desalin. Abigail Ildefonso. Robera Ali. Inbok Wee. Tristan Cooper Roth, summa cum laude. Jinjin Yuan, cum laude. Colin Deck, summa cum laude. Rose Curtis, cum laude. Catherine Watts. Kaylee Michelle Kapka. Sarah Michelle Andrews, summa cum laude. Monica Echegaray. Monica Echegaray, cum laude. William Young. Heather Young. Arden Riley Matsuda Matro. Vanessa Ramos. Sarah Fogaldi. Katharina Ann Barbato. Jangjom Chulaporn. We now recognize those receiving baccalaureate degrees in the School of Psychology, Family, and Community. Jason David J., summa cum laude. Melissa Joy Ost, summa cum laude. Sarah Peterson, magna cum laude. Jeremy Aaron Easter, cum laude. Brandon Maldizoradi, cum laude. Taylor Klein, cum laude. Jordan Lindsay Duncan. Emily Grace Burks. Danielle Shackman, magna cum laude. Sierra Taylor Williams. Nicole Basta. Rachel Montoya, cum laude. Annie Vlasek. Tony Lee. Oh, Tony. Janelle Christine Discolo. Melanie Loud, magna cum laude. Tanya Latz, summa cum laude. Brett Chase, cum laude. Jalen Davenport. Christopher Jellum. Lindsay Hansen. Mia Macaroli, cum laude. Melinda Amelia Mayberry. Catherine Elizabeth Bowling. Raquel Yofiminiano. Alicia Theofel. Josiah Ecker. Michaela Jane Hall. Ennalie Marika Shepard. Robert Crowder. Lauren Frainer. Clara Olson, cum laude. Jason Jason Bulasek. Misha Hoskin. Allison Miller, cum laude. Navjot Kaur. Christian McKellallen. Yosef Kim, cum laude. Emma Fix, cum laude. Taylor Hallgrimson. Molly Marsh. Tara Ogilvie. Chanel Summerall. Alexa Wojtowicz. Raleen Ashley Manglele Agbayani, cum laude. Julia Kaur. Kelly Becker, cum laude. Monica Worthington, magna cum laude. Katie Hymas. Mika Monique Smith. Mary Kathleen Sherman. Nonya Daria Injako. Chelsea DeWitt, cum laude. Alyssa Brown. Paige Aldrich, cum laude. Amy Atkinson. Kelsey McGill. Grace Crawford, magna cum laude. Jacob Wiebe. Rachel Amundson. Yezi Pang, cum laude. Vanessa Daker. Alexandra Putman. Marjorie Page Gailey. Madison Flaumer, cum laude. David Ferguson. Annie Thomas. We now recognize those receiving baccalaureate degrees in the School of Theology. Garrett Betts. Jordan Conrad, magna cum laude. Eric Andrew Morse, cum laude. Nicole Molendijk, cum laude. Christopher Vertefe. Cameron Spear. Anthony Jones. Zachary Douglas Mills, cum laude. Olivia Gleason, summa cum laude. Jenna Kathleen Boston. Haley Suzanne Downey. Megan Lee Deering, cum laude. Aubrey Wilson, magna cum laude. Autumn Sky George, magna cum laude. Tara Danielle Adcock, summa cum laude. Jesse Layton, cum laude. Abigail Court. Natalie Chambers. Nicole Also, cum laude. Gina Targoni, cum laude. Alexis Vega, cum laude. Garrett Cook, magna cum laude. Kyle Nicholas, summa cum laude. Stephanie Ann Miller, cum laude. Taylor Arthur, cum laude. Jessica Rachel Forgy. Elizabeth Rueda Herrera. Jasmine Hairston, magna cum laude. Andrea Leach, magna cum laude. Trevor Osterman, cum laude. Lauren Whitcomb, cum laude. Alex Piasecki, cum laude. Taylor Donahue. Scott Burse, summa cum laude. Sean Philip McGraw. Gabriella Joy Trelissimo. William Berry. Jake Kramer, magna cum laude. Daniel Todd Jr., cum laude. Mark Grenfell, cum laude. Joshua Johansson, cum laude. Jairus Sergatus. Christy Hawley. Rachel Hawley, summa cum laude.
We now recognize those receiving baccalaureate degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences. Jacob Hazel. Haley Pitto, cum laude. Genevieve Sarah Livingston. Jordan Cole. Jacqueline Holm. Kiana Yalowicki. Karina Barnes. Sarai Soto. Ashley Pineda. Evan Ray Rendes. Julia Jones, summa cum laude. Delaney Willows, summa cum laude. Sarah DeWitt. Thomas Fowler. Cheyenne Randolph, cum laude. Allison Wonderland Newton Moore. Kendra Lewis. Megan Elizabeth Howell, cum laude. Charlotte White, magna cum laude. Martin Jensen Horn, magna cum laude. David Pavlovich Dugdukpoli. Brooks Bolsinger, cum laude. Cynthia Eby, cum laude. Madison Lynn Richardson, cum laude. Meredith Bess Adams. Paul Toms. Samuel Ernest, magna cum laude. Kat Pickens. Kristen Hennerfoth. Emily Christine Edmonds, magna cum laude. Katie Lynn Brewer, cum laude. Brindy Kismore, cum laude. Tiffany Lorraine Tomkow. Ryan Daly, magna cum laude. Hannah Savaki. Alexandra Nizzoli, cum laude. Brianna Martinez, cum laude. Shaylee Hagland, cum laude. Haley Thompson, cum laude. Sarah Hunt, magna cum laude. Rhonda Pearson, cum laude. Hillary Marie Ewert Garman. Allison James. Maury George Nimmer. Robert Maynard, magna cum laude. Matthew Haywood Jager. Christopher Lauren Nelson. Blake Quackenbush, magna cum laude. Andrew Wolf. Andrew Douglas Wirtz, magna cum laude. Connor Scott McKay, cum laude. Carly Yvonne Boma, cum laude. Caitlin Siren, summa cum laude. Chiara Francolino, summa cum laude. Laura Boggs. Casey Braunschweig, summa cum laude. Jonathan Holmes. J.J. Kim. Ian Holstein. Marshall Freemuth, cum laude. Natalie Hart. Joshua Sruthridge Heinke. Danielle Valdez, cum laude. Danielle Tobin, magna cum laude. Alicia Hilt, summa cum laude. Kirsten Elizabeth Collison. Haley Patricia Stokes, magna cum laude. Kelsey Eisenman, cum laude. Jordan Smith, cum laude. Susan Haldeman. Madeline Hogue. Madison Strawn. Phoebe Kirk. Carrie Christine McClellan. Nellie Hanna. Kristen Neal. Wendy Lee. Joseph James Maracas. Adam Hutchison, magna cum laude. Ali Renee Christofferson. Catherine Holbrook, cum laude. Elise Kelsey Bradway. Shelby West, cum laude. Anna Soffer. Sophie Carlson. Matt Burke. Andrew Meyer, magna cum laude. Christiana Hester, summa cum laude. Krista Beck. Rebecca Kuhn, magna cum laude. Kara Risser, magna cum laude. Kate Anderson. Gracie Myers. David Gary Akiyama. Karen Chapin. Jordan Wallace, magna cum laude. Sarah Fridley, cum laude. Megan Fridley. Carrie Ann Ashley Chase, magna cum laude. Krista Sunday, summa cum laude. Ashley Springer. Samuel Jackson Hedren. Forrest Brown. Yoreni Mendoza. Paris Anawati. Micah Lund, cum laude. Daniel Lee, magna cum laude. John Rodson Greeno. Juan He Chris Kim, cum laude. Patrick Michael Nielsen, cum laude. Vadim Panitkov. Benjamin Wilson, cum laude. Talbert Frazier. Ellis Mioka. Shayla Charnay Reed. Ashley Nicole Benbor McNay. Samantha Evers. Catherine Owen. Jennifer Burns, summa cum laude. Troy Eisman. Nicholas Mitchell. Roya Sharifan, cum laude. Janessa Paula Belvin. Catherine Wu. Catherine Webb, summa cum laude. Mariel Ryland, magna cum laude. Hannah Rose Peterson, cum laude. Anna Nygren. Kaylee Daniel. Susanna Marie Olson, summa cum laude. Luke Shaner. Morgan Hasagawa, cum laude. Evan Abbott, cum laude. Brianna Ferguson, cum laude. Joshua Marshall Pryor, summa cum laude. Michael Powell, cum laude. Matthew Heindel. Danny Ciacio, magna cum laude. Micah Bovenkamp, cum laude. Warner Edwards. Katrina Aurora. Jade Edgar. Nicole Diane Montanola. Harry Lang. Sierra Hinkle. Daniel Joel Hunt, magna cum laude. Spencer Swanson, cum laude. Corey Burden, magna cum laude. Quentin Owlett, cum laude. Melissa Rowe. Corey Hudson. Jennifer Lee Day, magna cum laude. Sarah Biondi. Kendall Carver. Madison Cavill, cum laude. Matthew Robinson, cum laude. Miguel Ortega, magna cum laude. Molly Kegley, magna cum laude. Jackson Palmer Smith. Matthew Avicius. David Takashi Matsui, cum laude. Salvador Ang Deng. Montague Reynolds. John Jarman, magna cum laude. Austin Hackett. Angela Evans, cum laude. Elizabeth Annika Carlson, cum laude. Kendra Carmichael. Amanda Gale Erickson, cum laude. Heather Bean, magna cum laude. Kelsey Rogers. Damara Acosta. Sosun Nayemi. Christina Burshak. Rebecca Anne-Marie Sebastian. Amy Leanne Throckmorton. William Andrews. Andrew David Curley. Luke Christopher Arnold. Madeline Suzanne Watt. Matthew Diatley. Andrea Johnson, summa cum laude. Joshua Baez, magna cum laude. Omar Abu Hassan. Ida Katsu Mastudi, magna cum laude. Tiffany Magno. Cherith Hasagawa. Lizette Lamas. Iris Quo. Ivy Gail Molina. Kendra Beeson. Margaret Eileen Johnson. Brittany Meyer, magna cum laude. Heather Harwell. Brittany Yeamans. Sunel Gomez. Maria Maya Moravang. Maria Solchik Cunyan. Rachel Cantrell. Camille Sue Wilson, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Danielle Sanders. Crystal Johnson. Amy Christine McDonald. Devin Criswell, cum laude. Nadia Cleary, cum laude. Fang Wen Ling. Benjamin Purcell, cum laude. Zoe Yorna. Ashley Meisner. Derek Spencer. Solomon Meza. Nathan Anderson. Brett Angelo. Jonathan Nyhus, cum laude. Jordan Cross, magna cum laude. Spencer Noble, cum laude. John Wheeler. Travis Sitton, summa cum laude. Matt Caton. Joshua Lorenzen. David Phillips. Andrea Alden Glick. Nathan Cho. Isaac Graves. Devin Nickel. Aaron Grider. Kin Do Lee. David Smith. Eric Bowe. Isaac Wong, summa cum laude. Samuel Back. Jennifer Naresa. Stephanie Mika Umamoto. Stephanie Wynn. Helen Kim. Holly Kloss. Melissa Piontek. Tyler Gilstrom. Erin Ann Frey. Ilya Frid, cum laude. Zach Ryan, cum laude. Gino Ellis Marquez. Alana Saderion. Kenley Bowles. Elizabeth Simpson. Jasmine Johnson. Janelle DeAndre. Morgan Shepard. Bethany Teresa Peter, summa cum laude. Emily Mogren, summa cum laude. Julianne Carlson, cum laude. Brianne Christine Hughes. Evelyn Turner. Jennifer Marie Suriaco, cum laude. Allison Luna, cum laude. McKenna Page, cum laude. Lucia Homeland. Rebecca Ide, magna cum laude. Carolyn Brooke Holt, cum laude. Eric Lund. Emerson Mark Morris. Jeffrey Miles, cum laude. Madeline Trimble. Zoe Clevel Head. Carla Choto. Hilding Reich. Lydia Catherine Blair. Kaya Elise Thorson, cum laude. Lauren Amy Mitchell, cum laude. Stephanie Borden. Kristen Sherwood. Haley McPherson. Allison Shipley, cum laude. Bishu Dupree Perkins. Alexandria Joy Russell. Lou Christine Hilares. Brogan McEwen. Stephen Hutchison, summa cum laude. Benjamin Kendall. Natalie Hoekstra. Halen Blanchard, cum laude. Taylor Raker. Catherine Ann Marie Adams, magna cum laude. Lane Jacobs, magna cum laude. Rana Levy. Adam Marsh. Ryan Fairchild. Hannah Jean Hall. Paige Lively, summa cum laude. Megan Lemaire. Holly Christine Eknes. Christelle Kabango. Sarah M. cum laude. Cynthia Saleh. Anna Rabishki, cum laude. Melissa Castle. Catherine Grice. Tegan Fast. Caitlin Schuff. Jordan Hess, magna cum laude. Jack Head. Shannon Escara, cum laude. Kara Lord, cum laude. Ren Kenyon, cum laude. Millie Sturdivant, cum laude. Stephen D. Coombs. Reed Hawkins, summa cum laude. Sophia Sneep. Brooke Peterson, cum laude. James Dean Esparza. Allison Inouye, magna cum laude. Malia Susan Ann White, cum laude. Flavia Daniela Sterchuk. April Stark. Tiffany Marie Hanzo. Landry Desmond. Ethan Yanwaria. Tasia J. Baldwin. Sherdon Jones. Tariq Russell. Caleb Kamalo. Sean Gilbert. Alexandra Abate. Aaron Apple. Deanna Allen. Jordan Dykstra, magna cum laude. Samuel Siekmeyer, cum laude. Trenton Sanders, summa cum laude. Thomas Walter Lippert, cum laude. Adam Carlson, cum laude. Colin Wilkins, summa cum laude. Connor Hendricks, magna cum laude. Ryan Alcantara. Marguerite Rose Peterson. Maya Thetford. Ian Frank Totorici. Nicholas Melema. Ruth Madai Palin. Sarah Bergstrom, cum laude. Laura Renee Berry, cum laude. Ian Thurston, magna cum laude. Robin Lee. Michelle Rosimo. Giovanna Elizabeth Montez. Vanessa Lisseth Sorto. Kimberly Miller, cum laude. Misha Cherzenko. Riley Elizabeth Dops. Taylor Augustus Ladd. Krista Marie Ward. Chloe Uzarga. Ethan Claggett. Jake Kornbaugh. Nicholas Rogers, cum laude. Sean Russell, cum laude. Joel Dugas, cum laude. Hannah Alexandra Bastidos, cum laude. Kristen Noel Schmidt, cum laude. Giselle Gonzalez, summa cum laude. Miranda Clausen. Hannah Sherman, magna cum laude. Lauren Kelm, magna cum laude. Alina Chop, magna cum laude. Sarah Miller, cum laude. Gabriel Joseph Adams, cum laude. Connor Thomas King. Joshua Keone McBrayer. Rachel Kim, cum laude. Andrew Thiessen. Marvelous in our eyes. That's it. What? Did you hear my quote? Oh, I said, this is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Oh. This concludes the recognition of baccalaureate degrees.
Well, I'd like to recognize one last important group of people this morning, our tremendous faculty. Well, graduates, we are conferring upon you the degree which you have earned. However, you are receiving much more today, for it is earned with the honors, the rights, the privileges, and the responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Through the centuries, universities have carried forward timeless questions and debates that have faced generations in humanity. We are institutions that are rich in tradition and history, and they're integral parts of our identity. However, even as universities are informed by the past and draw strength from our historic purpose, our values, our identity, it's incumbent upon us to not only ask timeless questions, but those that are timely. Such a focus will allow us to look forward so as not to lose our relevance, our strength, and our ability to advance. There's perhaps no better lens to view the future than through the lives of our students and our graduates. Such a lens provides guidance and hope. It provides us meaning as we live out our vocational call at SPU. Graduates, as you reflect upon and increase in your understanding of what it means to graduate and earn honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities, It's my hope that it propels you forward toward the fulfillment of the university's vision, engaging the culture and changing the world. May it foster your imagination of a better world, one that's transformed by the faith and the hope and the love that our world so desperately needs. Graduates, we send you out from this place with our love, our encouragement, and our strong confidence in you and your future. May God bless each one of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and let us sing together. Let us sing together this wonderful hymn that we have before us. It is the Seattle Pacific University alma mater. Let us sing. Maestro. Near the mountains of the westland, near the ocean's blue, beacon light that shineth ever is RSPU. Join the chorus wafted onward until all shall view, standing true amid all others, dear old SPU.
Please remain standing for the benediction. As you go forth from this place, may God grant you a lifelong commitment to pursuing truth, seeking justice, and loving others. May God grant you lifelong companions, friends who will help shoulder your burdens and help make you a better individual. As you go forth from this place, may God grant you opportunity to use your education and align your passions to serve others and God's kingdom. May God grant you provision for the journey ahead so that you may possess all the physical, social, and spiritual resources to fulfill this high calling. As you go forth from this place, may God grant you the faith to continually reimagine new possibilities and never grow cynical. May God grant you lasting joy and peace so that you might be able to persevere through trials and uncertainty. And now, may the love of God the Father comfort us. May the wisdom of God the Son enlighten us. And may the fire of God the Holy Spirit empower us, now and forever. Amen. You may be seated. This concludes our commencement ceremonies.
you.